It's on!
It is on, says Mike's finger in the camera. Well, hello, welcome to another edition of Disney Parks Talk Live, the weekly show in which we talk about what is going on in the world of Disney theme parks and sometimes other theme parks too, including today, because Mike's been doing a lot of exploring lately. My name is Doobie Mosley, co-founder here at Laughing Place. That over there is Rebecca Mosley. She is also the co-founder of Laughing Place. How you doing, Rebecca?
I'm doing well.
She's my wife, by the way. And then down there is our son, Mike Celestino. How you doing, Mike?
How you doing? I'm doing well. How are you?
Or to be called Dad, if you want to. No. Just kidding. Mike Celestino is not our child, but
Nope.
he is our vice president in charge of all things Southern California theme parks and Simpsons and Muppets and Jurassic Park. And okay, so I did not say anything about the haircut today, but Mike looking like a '70s movie star now with that hair. I'm thinking
It's
like,
really,
Chris-
yeah,
What?
it's really getting in the way these days. One more month, July 15th. I'm gonna cut my hair.
See, Chris Christopherson with Barbara Streisand in Star is Born. There we go. Not Born to be a Star. A Star is Born. That's what I see right there with my sales team. Okay, we're live. If you have any questions out there, any comments, like Nikki B just had a great one there, please use the chat for that. We're going to get started. We have, how could I not mention, Jeremiah is not with us today. Let's all bow our heads in sadness as Jeremiah was not able to join us because he is currently in the Northeast somewhere.
Oh, okay.
So,
Cool.
it's not truly sad, but whenever Jeremiah is not with us, it is a
Aw,
sad occasion.
okay.
So, hi, Jeremiah. I miss you. We didn't do a show last week either, so I haven't talked to Jeremiah in like 3 weeks or something.
Oh, you did a
Terrible.
walk and talk.
I didn't.
Oh, wow.
No, I wasn't able to. Tony Betty would like to fight Mike for the Jurassic Park vice president.
Oh yeah,
title. That's
sorry.
fine.
I should have raised that opposition as well. Tony is the JP guy.
Tony, okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Tony. I take it back. Technically, Tony is our vice president of Jurassic Park. All right, let's get started with Tiana. No, it is not time yet. Let's get started with Splash Mountain, as Mike Celestino was lucky enough to be at Disneyland on May 30th for the closing of Splash Mountain. Were you not, Mike?
I was, and it was a very fun day. A lot of people there, very crowded around that area, Critter Country through the whole. I got there around 11 a.m. I stayed till the park closed at 11, but I was done like 11:15 or so. I left. I'm not sure what time they actually closed the gates, but I didn't stay for that. I know they were still like winding their way through the rest of the queue after I left. But yeah, it was very, kind of bittersweet day, but I think most people have accepted the reality. Most people are excited to see what comes next, and everybody just kind of wanted to get that one final ride. I did it twice that day. So when I got there, the single rider queue was open. I went through that. That was great. It went pretty fast. And then like an hour or two after that, they just shut down single rider for the rest of the day. So when it came time to do my final ride, I had to wait through that 4-hour line that was forming in the standby queue. But yeah, it was worth it. I took a lot of pictures to remember the whole queue and took video of both my rides that day that are both up on the Laughing Place YouTube channel. I saw and ran into Tony Baxter, who was hanging out. I saw him around all day, and then I finally got a moment as I was getting off my final ride. He was standing there waiting to board from the opposite side of where I usually board.
Cool.
I was like, "Hey, Tony, do you mind if I get a selfie real quick?" So I did that. But I know he was hanging out with like the Lopez brothers, the basketball players that were there all day as well. And I know there's some other Imagineers there too. But yeah, it was just a really memorable day, and I'm glad I got to be there for that, for sure.
Things like that are really memorable. Some that come to mind. I remember being at Disneyland on this big 40th anniversary celebration, July 17th, 1995. Certainly the final Main Street Electrical Parade back, I think it was November 25th, 1996. I think that was it. Anyway, it was 1996 in November. When all the fans come together, even those were actual Disney events if they did something special. But even when that's not the case, even when just the fans come together for that final day, I don't know, it feels kind of special. Did this have that kind of feeling?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I saw a bunch of my blogger friends and just people who I know are big Disney fans, and yeah, everybody kind of wanted to pay their final respects to this ride that was a big part of the last 34 years or whatever. So, um, but like I said, I think most people are looking forward to seeing how this shapes up and what it becomes next.
For
Yeah,
sure.
I am. I am. But before we go, I want to share my Splash Mountain story. And that is that many, many years ago, I did not hold on to my hat. It blew off. And I went to guest relations because it was lost. And I wrote to guest relations about my hat. And I said, I don't know if you'll be able to get it back. I even put in the thing, please, please just send me back this hat, because they had stopped selling it at Disneyland. It was a Disney hat, and I adored it. And then several months later, in the mail, I received this. And it was my hat covered in massive amounts of grease. And it came with a letter saying that they had recently refurbished the attraction. It had undergone a refurbishment and they had drained it. And during the draining, I guess when they drained it, I guess they discovered the hat or somehow, or, it's just one of those things where I have no idea how long it was before they actually, I wish I could remember. I wish I'd taken good notes on it, how long it was before I got this hat. But yeah, I got a envelope with my nasty, disgusting hat returned to me. Thank you, Disneyland. And that is my forever Splash Mountain memory, that my
So
hat
do you
was.
still have it?
Yeah, I
So
actually
you have some authentic Splash Mountain grease on your hat.
Yeah.
You could
I washed it. I hoped so hard that I'd be able to kind of get that, but it's stained. It's not gross anymore. I mean, seriously, when you would hold it, you could feel the grease. But after I washed it, it was just kind of dirty, but it wouldn't transfer to you anymore. But yeah, it's one of my favorite Disney memories. And so yeah, had to share that as we say farewell.
I feel like you could trade some of us, scrape off some of that grease and trade it with Tony Baxter for some of that water that he collected from the last day. That'd be pretty cool. All right.
By the way, GB, before you go on, that story has a happier ending, because not long after my hat arrived to me, they started selling it again in stores, and so I was able to get a pristine one off shelf. So I now own two.
And yet we still have that one clogging up our home.
We have two of them. Oh, who could throw that away? Disney sent it to me in a nice envelope.
That is a memory. You should be wearing that hat for today's episode.
No.
Okay. Well, the reason Tiana's the reason Splash Mountain is no longer with us in the United States of America is not that, but that.
Because Rebecca's hat gummed up the works.
Yep, exactly. Blame it on my hat.
Is because Tiana's Bayou Adventure is moving in. So, Mike, you went back the very next day to see what's going on there, right? What'd you find?
Yeah. I was there till closing on, what was it, Wednesday night last week? One of those. And back the next morning to check out how they boarded the whole thing up. Got construction walls. Well, first, there were construction walls just around the queue. And then the next time I went, which was Friday, they had expanded the construction walls all around the whole front side of the attraction as well. So there's a lot of signage hinting at what's to come with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. There are, like you can see in this photo, you can see the stickers. There's different colors. So there's green, red, and blue, each of which probably indicates, different things that are going to become of these signs and props that are in the attraction and the queue. Your guess is as good as mine what they mean specifically. Did you have something?
One thing I heard, I don't know if it's true, but I saw on Twitter that you can tell by the blue sticker on the Splash Mountain sign that it's headed for the Walt Disney Archive. So maybe next time you're there, see if anything with a blue sticker seems like something they want to hold on to forever. I don't know why that's playing right now. I hope you guys don't hear it.
I do hear it.
So weird. Okay. And it's coming from that Nordstrom ad, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it is that Nordstrom ad. Yes. Thank you, Nordstrom, for speaking up.
For providing some smooth
jazz. That kind of fits in what we're talking about today, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, actually.
No. That's high energy. High energy Bayou. Zydeco music.
Jazz.
In addition to the construction walls, now they've put up a photo op. You have that?
No, I do
Okay.
not.
On one of the
I will
walls
look
is
for it.
a big photo op for Tiana's Bayou Adventure with all the animals. What's the alligator's name? He's playing the trumpet or something.
Lewis.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you
sorry,
could
Lewis.
pretend to be playing the other instruments along with him as people are waiting
Yeah,
for that
that's very clever.
ride to
Sorry, I have
arrive.
failed. I
That's
don't
okay.
have that.
And then the only thing left over right now from Splash Mountain is the pressed penny machine. That's still there, or was still there as of Friday, in front of the Pooh Corner shop in Critter Country. You can still get your Splash Mountain pressed pennies.
What about the train? Is the train still
Oh yeah.
referencing Splash Mountain, Mike?
So there's new audio on both the Disneyland Railroad and Mark Twain Riverboat talking about Tiana moving into the area. I was actually surprised on, if you listen to the audio on the Mark Twain, they mentioned, the narrator mentions that Tiana, he specifically says Tiana's Bayou Adventure is part of Critter Country. Now, whether he means it will still be part of Critter Country once it opens, I don't know. But I was surprised to hear that because, as you know, the movie Princess and the Frog takes place in New Orleans.
Right.
New Orleans Square is right next door. So you figure they're going to expand New Orleans Square up to include
One would
Tiana's
think.
Bayou Adventure.
I wonder what that means. I don't know. I don't. Pure speculation, but I don't think that's a nothing. I wonder if they're going to change the name in New Orleans Square or something. I don't know. Maybe just the fact that they have not yet redrawn the boundaries, but I don't think that's a nothing. Anyway, we have audio and video of
Okay.
how it sounds. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Let me know if you can't hear this.
To those just joining us, welcome aboard the Disneyland Railroad. To ensure a safe ride, stay seated with your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the train. And please watch your kids.
Para su seguridad, permanezca sentado y mantenga las manos, brazos, pies y piernas dentro del tren y cuide a los pequeños. Gracias.
We're now entering the Bayou, soon to be home to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Princess Tiana swears there's magic out here. And wherever there's magic, there's bound to be surprises. Blue skies and sunshine guaranteed.
Where there's magic, there's bound to be surprises. Suitably generic. So that is, the railroad. You did not get a. Did we have a video of the Mark Twain?
Yep.
You did? Okay, sorry, I missed that one, but
That's
you
okay.
described it, so that works. So Tiana's Bayou Adventure opens in late 2024. I got the opportunity to go to New Orleans, so I got these beads. Notice my New Orleans beads. Last week, I don't even know anymore. 2 weeks ago, I guess. 2 weeks ago. But we were able to talk about it last week. So I got to go to New Orleans to get a behind the scenes peek at how Imagineering immerses themselves in an environment to help them create an authentic experience like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I've talked about that a couple of times. I've talked about it quite a bit. The day we were first able to talk about it last Wednesday on our morning show. I talked about it last Saturday night after Disney Trivia Live. So I'm definitely not going to go through all that again. But I do want to go through some of the things that we learned specifically about the attraction. The main point of the event was to let us get an idea of what Imagineering does when they go on these trips. So the main point of this was not to make some grand announcements, but they did make a couple of announcements. So let me go ahead and go through those real quick. First of all, let me share with you a picture of the beautiful Tiana in Dookie Chase's restaurant, which is the restaurant that inspired Tiana's restaurant in the movie. And the founder of Dookie Chase's restaurant, Leah Chase, is the person who inspired Tiana herself. So very fitting that we went to that location to learn some new things about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So what did we learn specifically that's coming up for Tiana's Bayou Adventure? I have an article here that I will put in the chat, and then I'm just going to quickly go through it, not too much detail. We learned that the track is going to be the same, no surprise there. Still a 9-minute ride at Disneyland, 10-minute in the Magic Kingdom, no layout changes, no speed changes. Same length attraction once you're actually on the ride. We did learn they are creating some original animation that will be on the screen, that will be used in screens within the attraction. So they are adding some screens to the attraction. Presumably the queue as well, I don't know for sure, but the question was specifically asked about the attraction and they said yes. And Disney has not written us since and said we're wrong on this. So I think it's pretty safe that we got that one right. They are creating a brand new theme song for the attraction, separate from separate from the current music for Princess and the Frog. They're creating a brand new song. It's being written by songwriter and producer PJ Morton, who was a native of New Orleans and got a lot of applause in that room. I haven't heard of him, but many people have heard of him. And he got a lot of applause in that room, and he's created an original song that will be heard within the attraction. And the excitement he had over that, and thinking that that song may be heard by people who go to Disneyland and Disney World for the next 20, 30 years, who knows. It's fun to watch that excitement from people.
What if the song is just? What if the song is exactly like Zippity Doo Dah, but just like the lyrics are just slightly changed, like bleepity bloop blop?
This is why you should have been there to ask that question. We had a Q&A with 3 of the Imagineers, and they were actually there working on the song. That's why PJ Morton and the music producer were there. They're working on the song. They took a break from that to come to our Q&A and stuff, but they're there working hard right now trying to get that song done. So they could not preview it for us, unfortunately, because it's just plain not done. Terrence Blanchard, who is the jazz trumpeter who plays the part of Lewis's trumpet. He doesn't play the... You hear him trumpeting when you see Lewis trumpet. I never know how to phrase that. But he plays all of Lewis's trumpet parts in The Princess and the Frog. His name is Terrence Blanchard. Hi, Sonia. He is working on selecting songs and arranging them for use in the queue area, as well as some iconic themes from New Orleans that'll be used in the queue. So lots of new and different music will be heard, not just the same old arrangements, and that's cool. There's going to be a radio show playing in the queue of the attraction, and that's going to be talking about the celebration, kind of setting us up for the celebration we're about to embark upon, but it's also going to let us know that Tiana needs assistance on this celebration, that there's an issue, and so that's kind of setting up the story. And the radio that they're using for that radio show is modeled after this one right there, which is authentic, as so much of this attraction is. It's based on a 1930s Avron radio and record player combination. So when you see that in Tiana's Bayou Adventure, you know that this is where it came from. And then you can see right there next to the record player is a picture. That is actually Prince Naveen's little brother, Ralphie. And Ralphie is going to be in the attraction. He is learning to play the drums. He's going to be represented as an animatronic, which is really cool. And he is going to be playing a drum set that was inspired by this drum set right here. And this drum set was in the office of the director of the New Orleans Jazz Museum. And it featured a 1900 Chinese tom-tom and a 1920s Zildjian and Chinese cymbals. And again, everything here is very important to be authentic. And so it's based on this real drum set that was found in Greg Lambuzzi's office at the New Orleans Jazz Museum. There will be 17 new characters. That includes like the Critter Band and Ralphie. 17 new characters, not just the Tiana and such that you're used to seeing. And those will be represented by animatronic. So 17 new animatronics, that's pretty exciting, I think. Let's see, and then some new themes that are going to be touched on in the attraction. Tiana's father, of course, was a World War I veteran. And so one of the themes that'll be touched on is what was it like for an African-American man to fight for his country back then. Tiana's mom, as we know from the film, made dresses for Charlotte, but as we learned, she probably had other clients within the community, and so that's going to be a theme in the attraction, especially with that being an inspiration for Tiana's entrepreneurship. And then one of the the director of the attraction, Ted Robleto, is of Philippine descent. Both his parents are Filipino, and he's a first generation. And in doing his research for the attraction in New Orleans, he learned that a lot of people from the Philippines actually settled in New Orleans long before the United States was even a country. And so that really inspired him to want to put some representation of that in the attraction, because not just the Philippines, but also from Mexico, the Caribbean, some of the nations of Africa. There's even a really vibrant Chinatown in New Orleans. And so that is somehow, nothing specific, going to be represented within the attraction. The various nationalities that settled in New Orleans literally centuries ago. And there will be new costumes. So we've all seen this costume here for Tiana and hairstyle. And they have let us know that this is not the only new one we'll be seeing. There will be other new costumes and hairstyles beyond this one featured in the attraction. And finally, nope, not finally, Prince Naveen will play a humorous role in the story. They said not a huge role, but a very important and funny role. So looking forward to that. They're going to sneak peek some of these new costumes at the Essence Fest, which is coming up later this month. That's the same festival. Last year they gave us the actual name, Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This year they're going to show us some of the merchandise coming out of it. And we know there's a Princess and the Frog Disney Plus series coming up. The attraction will not necessarily be tied to the series, but they are working with them for continuity. And finally, someone asked if there were changes coming to the Magic Kingdom beyond the attraction itself, as has been rumored on the internet that they're going to do some major changes around the attraction to the land. Doesn't really fit in Frontierland. The answer given by Carmen Smith, who was the most senior Imagineer in the Q&A, was, I will say, can't say. Stay tuned.
I'm curious if anyone asked if any of the animatronics that are in the ride currently will remain.
That was asked. They asked it in the context of Easter eggs in general, so they mentioned that, but they also mentioned Easter eggs, and the answer they gave was, we don't want to say. Well, to me, the way I interpreted the answer is, we always do Easter eggs. We're not going to spoil what they are. But they definitely did not specifically answer the question of the animatronics. So that is, that's what we learned. And there you go. There's PJ
Morton.
Goodness. Thank you. PJ Morton on the left and Ted Robledo on the right.
And what I love about this is that there's actually going to be a little character. There's a critter band that we keep hearing about as part of these new animatronics. And I'm guessing this is a possum.
It is a possum, yes.
And I love how they're kind of working in his style, his charm with this possum, right? That's what they've
said. They also said the possum is a female, but I do still think they're using that to channel PJ Morton to the attraction. They have something similar for Terrence Blanchard. And it was so cool because they presented PJ with this and Terrence Blanchard with his. I don't know if you have Terrence's, Rebecca, but they presented Terrence Blanchard with his. Right there, they were surprised to get that. And the delight on their face, it was so much fun to be able to see their face when they received it. It's so cool. And we have videos of both of those presentations and everything around it on our YouTube channel if you want to go check those out. Yeah, that's it. And I love this picture because you pretty much can see his face right there. And just my reading of his face is just wow. Like, thank you. Just thank you. Which is, I believe, exactly what he said.
And while we were talking, I was able to find that photo op that Mike was talking about. So you can position yourself and become part of Lewis's Mardi Gras band there. So
can you go back to the last one real quick?
With the yeah.
Just want to point out the gentleman on the left is John Dennis. He's doing the music for the attraction. So he along with Ted Robledo on the right, the director, are the ones that talked with Terrence Blanchard and presented him with this. So it was a great experience. We got to go on a Bayou tour. We went to Dookie Chase's. We went to a place called Yaya, which is a place that develops artists, and that gave them a ton of inspiration. We went to a historical museum, New Orleans Jazz Museum, Preservation Hall, and all of these places tie in one way or another to the attraction and the movie. And so I did write an extensive article about that. I invite you to read. As I said, I've talked about it twice already. I don't want to take the time to do it yet again, but I do invite you to go read the article. It's simply called...
Doobie, had you been to New Orleans before?
I had not been to
Is
New
it
Orleans
the Finding
before.
Authenticity one, Doobie? Because I have.
Yeah, I got that. I have the link in there. Okay. I'm just waiting. I'm trying to. What's the title of it? Can you just say the title of it?
It's Finding Authenticity, bringing the real New Orleans to Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Exactly. So I invite you to go read that article and just get a better sense of why Imagineering bothers to go to these places to get inspired is the obvious one, but it's also to try to be authentic to these locations. In the case of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, they call it, they want people who from New Orleans who go there to be able to say, yeah, this is my place. So, okay, moving right along from there. So this little item started making its way around the internet today, and then got Gustin was able to contact Disney and get some confirmation. Sorry. Yours. Get some confirmation that this actually is undergoing testing. You may remember this. This is a video that TechCrunch had from quite a while ago of a walking, doing stuff, baby Groot animatronic. That's really cool. Well, today we have found out that they are doing some testing. That was it. I will read Scott Gustin's tweet. Disneyland Resort is conducting play tests of an animatronic baby Groot, a Disneyland official confirmed. So this is confirmed. Select park guests are being invited to a short presentation. The tech from Walt Disney Imagineering R&D was first revealed as Project Kiwi in 2021, and that's the video we were just looking at. So Mike, your job is to go to Disneyland and just look pathetic until they call you in.
Wear my I love Baby Groot t-shirt. And
no cameras. Don't look like your media.
Right.
Cut the hair so they won't recognize you. Or wear a hat. And just look really pathetic, like you have no friends. There's no one you could possibly talk to about it. That's cool. Either you guys have anything to say about that? Any excitement?
It looks cool. Can't wait to see it. Hope it makes regular rotation in the park.
There's a lot of R&D stuff that they work on that never actually makes it into the park. So hopefully this is one that does. Or a lot of it makes it into the park, but never makes it. It still seems to be in the testing phase. It never makes it out of the testing phase. So
yeah,
we'll see. Did you get to see Elemental Connection? Was that you, Mike?
That was me.
What was it like?
It's 2 minutes long. It was. I mean, to be honest, it feels like an ad for Elemental, the movie from Pixar coming next week, I think. But it looks very cool. It's the thing that surprised me about it. I had camped out there for a bit. I got there early to get the virtual queue for World of Color that night, and I did manage to find stuff to fill the time, but it was a bit of a wait to get to see this in the evening. The thing that surprised me was they started it at the show was scheduled for 9 and they started it at 8:57. So I was like scrambling to get my phone, because usually, you show up. I've done this a bunch. You show up to record a Disney show or parade or something. They start pretty promptly. This one was a few minutes early because they did have this pre-show, which I guess they didn't want to bump back the rest of the show. They had grad night going on that night. I don't know if this was a regular occurrence or what, but as far as the timing goes, but I managed to get like 95% of it. I missed the very beginning of the intro, but it's still there. It's there, and it looks cool. I think they did a good job, but yes, definitely feels like marketing for the film, which it is.
Before World of Color. Now I'm so curious. Did you pack up and leave after the 2 minutes were over?
I stayed for like half of the show, and then I decided to beat the crowd out to my car.
Typical Dodger fan. Well, you did have you were at the park a lot over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, it was a busy week of theme parks, yes.
Another reason you were there was to check out this.
Yeah, so pretty soon after the new Mickey's Toontown opened, they had put the construction walls back up around this area, which is called Centennial Park. It has the tree, which doesn't quite match, as we've pointed out before, doesn't quite match the concept art. But then there's also these roots that kids can climb on and play around in. And I think part of the assumption was maybe the trees had proven to be more of a tripping hazard than they thought or whatever, but they removed the construction walls, the limbs, the roots are still there. I personally couldn't tell what was different. I compared it to other photos I had taken when it first opened. Somebody, I think it might have been Scott Gustin or somebody on Twitter, was saying that they did changes to the foundation underneath the fake grass there, which may very well be the case. If so, it's not immediately obvious to me what changed? Do you guys have more information on that?
I think maybe that patch around the tree itself. I think if you look at your photos, I don't know that patch is the same color. So I'm wondering if the kind of the around the tree base right there is what changed. I seem to recall that it didn't have kind of that square dynamic to it before. But when I looked at your photos, but I don't remember just kind of in the moment right now.
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest. What changed?
No, I think the thing that seems visually different is the base of the tree. Is something about that rubber at the base of the tree.
Right. Yeah. It seems, I think, pretty logical. I won't say safe, but certainly logical to say whatever they had to do was not for the external, was not for the aesthetics. It was something more internal because nothing really changed externally. Yeah. I don't think changing the color of the base probably was why they put it behind walls for a couple of weeks.
What I really want to know is what is becoming of that Donald water splash area by his boat, which, they took out it used to be like a lake in there, right? And they took that out, they put in the water play area, and it's still not open as far as I've seen. Anytime I visit there, the weather hasn't been amazing, but there was a sunny day. Like, it was relatively sunny on Friday when I was there. I don't know. I'm curious what's going on with that too.
Agreed. Yep.
Excuse me. Okay. Got a few more Halloween tidbits. I'll give you another link in the chat. But Halloween is coming to Disneyland, including the Oogie Boogie Bash, of course. And tickets go on sale June 29th, 27th for Magic Key holders. That's you, Mike. Otherwise, June 29th. Not before 9 a.m., which is how they always word these things. 25 dates this year for Oogie Boogie Bash. Let's see. And then, of course, we know they have Halloween screen. Well, they have what's the thing in Haunted Mansion? What's the thing in Haunted Mansion they do?
Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Yes. And then they have Halloween Screams. So they theme some of the rides to Halloween, like Guardians of the Galaxy, Monsters After Dark, Luigi's Haunted Halloween. So tons of Halloween stuff. They just
is Ghost Galaxy coming back?
That is a great question. Let's find out.
Probably
I do
not.
not see any mention of Ghost Galaxy returning. So if it is, I'm surprised they have not announced it. So that's Halloween coming to the Disneyland Resort over at Walt Disney World, where Jeremiah would normally be talking to us. But that's okay. We know this area, right, Rebecca? The AP area?
Yeah, it's honestly the area where we always go and grab a nice quiet spot and have a sandwich. It's become the VIP Days Lounge, I guess the VIP Passholder Days Lounge. So you go over there, you can get some complimentary snacks, some beverages over there, and then they make sure to let you know about other fun items you could purchase, like Beignets desserts and tarts. But they do have full-size candy for free. But like I said, you can get these big minty tart or grape shake at an additional cost if you are so inclined. But they've overlaid the tables. Previously this area, I believe this was winter. That's my memory is that it's winter. But once again, we have music from your ad over in the corner. And they even have these lockers for charging. They have a little USB cable in there so you can put your phone in and charge it without concern. So, yeah.
Are you hearing music?
Nope, not anymore. Nice little amenities, simple. Change the tables from summer to fun Disney character themes, give people a little bit of free food, snacky things. So, nice little bump. Nothing extravagant.
Land Pavilion at Epcot. So a little treat there. But it is where we normally sit. Remember?
I know.
So we have to find someplace else to sit.
Personally offended. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we don't. We're annual pass holders. We can still sit there. But now there will be a lot of other people there too.
But the nice thing was when Gideon was little, that was where we would go to allow him to kind of roam. We would have a moment he could kind of roam around a little bit because people didn't tend to sit over there, so they weren't going to be bothered by a little kid, driving his car on the seats or whatever. So yeah, but we would find somewhere else instead. But it's nice. It's air conditioned in there.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Nice. It's not so. I thought they were going to put it on the other side, which can also sometimes be emptier and is by all the cacophony of Soarin'. So it's nice that they actually kind of put it over on the side.
Yeah.
That tends to be a little bit quieter because you're just there by the Living with the Land queue. And then if the movie's going, you get the periodic theater exit. But I don't think that movie has. I don't think that movie's going, right?
I think it's going. I just don't think too many people see it. Still haven't seen that movie. Which is sad. I really should see all the attractions at Disney World.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I can't recall.
Okay. But I should. The dining plan prices have been announced. We talked about probably in our last show that the Disney dining plan was returning to Walt Disney World. They're now giving us prices for them.
There you go.
The quick service dining plan, that's the one that gets you 2 quick service meals and I believe 2 snacks, is $57 per day for adults, $23.83 for children 3 to 9. And then the standard dining plan that has the table service is $94.28 for adults, $29.69 per child. So when figuring it all out, be sure to take into account what your actual hotel price is. See if you can get a discounted hotel price without the dining plan. Figure out, do you really want to eat that much? Some people do, some people don't. And pencil it out. Don't assume it's going to be a better deal, but often it is. And we do also have a...
Oh, and it's also nice for some to just know what your price is and kind of get that package and then just pay towards the package and know you're covered. Know exactly what you're getting with the package. And that's a good feeling.
Excellent point. Excellent point. We put together a list of all the restaurants that are covered. It's almost every restaurant, but not every restaurant. There are a few that are not Disney run, which aren't including the dining plan.
Oh,
so
nice.
we've put together a list for you. We've also talked about which ones are going to require two dining credits because a few of them do, like some of the character meals and such. You have to, instead of being 1 dining credit, it's 2 dining credits. So hopefully you can find that helpful. I just gave you the link and go check that out. All right, let's get back to Disneyland, Mike, because that's what we're going to do with you being here. So one of the cool places you got to go, one of the reasons you've been so busy lately, is you had to go check out the hotel.
Yeah, so this used to be called the Paradise Pier Hotel. What was it called before that?
Pan
Pacific, yeah.
And is now becoming the Pixar Place Hotel. And I went and walked around on like midweek last week. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, and took photos of all the construction and the stuff that's been unveiled already. Like the outside of the building here, you've got some nice colors going on in addition to the black and white on the building.
And then inside
is a new lobby. Gone is the surfing Goofy statue.
Now, we have to remind everyone that this is currently under construction. So what we are looking at is incomplete.
Yeah, right. That's where Luxo should be according to the concept art. Once it's all said and done, the Luxo.
Okay, there's going to be a Luxo statue. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't believe they're going to just have a fern in the middle of the lobby. But we've seen what they did to Ralph Brennan, so.
But it is sort of minimalist what they've revealed already. There's a different angle of the lobby.
What do you think of the furniture, Mike?
It's unremarkable to me. Modernist, I think, would be the style, right? But that makes sense for Pixar.
It's not like Incredibles. I don't know. I thought Incredibles when I first saw it.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Just giving them the benefit of the doubt. I don't know. Okay, so we don't yet have a date for when this actually opens, do we?
Not that I know.
We don't.
Some other fun details as you go along here. There's little characters embedded in the tiling in the floor. I spotted one from Elemental. Not sure which one it was. I saw the octopus from Finding Dory. And I saw... Septipus, sorry. I think Wall-E might have been one of the other ones. But and then I spotted a hidden Mickey in the lights above me. But when I took a photo of it, it did not look like a Mickey. I laid down on the floor to get this photo, and it's still the perspective on my camera doesn't match the perspective of the human eye.
Aww.
So it doesn't look right. But I asked the security guard, and he's like, "Yeah, that's Mickey." But yeah, there's some more. There you go. Pardon our pixels.
I have a question for Rebecca. That didn't. If an octopus loses a leg, it's now a septipus?
No, but he specifically was designed. my recollection was that he was specifically designed and discussed and everything as a septa.
Okay, but in real life, if an octopus loses an arm, it's still an octopus.
Yes, it's an octopus. But that's like I say, that's just my memory.
All right, and then what's the latest on the construction over at San Francisco?
Some new
Wait,
graphics.
Wait, would it septa be not 9? Wouldn't it be more? Oh, I never remember.
No,
it's
septa 7.
I am 7. Okay, yeah. It's just messed up because of Julius and Augustus. Okay, go ahead.
9 would be nonopus.
10opus, 11opus, 12opus.
New graphics is mostly what I noticed when I was there. They've been painting these graphics on the walls there by the bay, and then there's one big new like kind of graffiti style graphic above the restrooms in the main Pacific Wharf area, soon to be San Francisco Square.
And one of the things these graphics have shown us is we can still see Cucina Cucamonga there and Lucky Fortune Cookery. So presumably that's confirmation for sure, no doubt, that will be unchanged. Those restaurants will not be changed as a part of this transition. What's Rebecca showing off there?
Pixar Pier Motel.
Paradise Pier Hotel.
Oh, Paradise
2000. 23 years of joy ripped away by Pixar.
I was trying to find, because somewhere I have my "We're under construction" Pacific Hotel button. That's what I was looking for, but I found this one in the meantime.
Bridge, which will eventually look more like the Golden Gate Bridge, still has not begun that part of its construction.
Oh, we're back again with some smooth jazz.
What's really sad is I can't always hear it. I don't hear it. And the sound is muted. Where's it coming
also
from?
with this San Francisco transformation, we've lost the beer truck, which was an opening day thing. And it was a big, as I recall, Doobie, it was a rather big deal at the time because, Disneyland Resort did not serve alcohol except in Club 33. And now you have this other park opening and it's going to serve alcohol. But not only is it going to serve alcohol in locations like the Mondavi Vineyard, which, feels elevated and whatever, but you're going to have a beer truck as one of the things. And I just remember that being such a big deal at the time. And so it's gone and it's amazing that, it's like it was there and now it's gone. So I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, it was a huge deal for a lot of people, and
by the way,
deal.
You can see the grand dedication of it on this YouTube channel, and I remember filming it on my little handheld camcorder. I was kneeling. I had to run up. You want to talk about what you were doing? I remember running to this one because those events were happening like so fast, and Doobie was being sucked away periodically to do interviews. And so then I was just all alone, and I can remember run, trying to get over there to be sure that I could do it. And like there's real cameras, and it was like, the big cameras off to the side of me, like trying to duck underneath them to not be in their shot, but yet still get something to share with people online. Yeah.
Rebecca, we walked so that Mike could run.
It's fun. It was a fun memory. One of the longtime LP readers from way back in the days when we had discussion boards actually tweeted out the video this week when the beer truck went away, and I was like, oh no way, I forgot. See, okay, here comes Tony Betty.
Wait.
I'm sorry, we have to. What do you?
Now just a minute.
Okay. Hank is a septopus because an octopus would have killed Pixar's render farm. They never actually explain how he lost his tentacle in the movie, aside from that's why he's at the Marine Life Institute.
Wait a minute, they can do 7 arms, but 8 is a step too far?
I'm with you on that one. That seems like it's like a step too far. Did you do that on purpose, Mike? A step too far?
No, but
it works.
I'll say.
Yeah, I'm not buying that one, Tony.
I thought Tony would be proud of me for correcting Mike on that one. I thought I was going to get a thumbs up from Tony in the chat. So when I didn't get one, I figured, he must not be watching. But instead, I get a dissertation on
Tony's like Walt. He doesn't give you praise. He just lets you know when you're wrong. Otherwise, he just at his home, he was probably going.
The head nod. I got the head nod.
Sometimes he just calls you in and says, "Play it,"
Play it. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
If
Okay.
you get that, you are a Disney dude of the highest level.
Well, so that's another thing George Lucas and Walt Disney had in common, because George Lucas would just have a little stamp that says "okay" to put on the concept art that he liked.
By the way, you know who else has that in common? Our CEO.
Right.
He tried. Well.
No.
Let's move on. I have thoughts that I will not share. So, Mike Celestino, this morning on the morning show, we talked a little bit about this place. I don't want to influence your opinion. What do you think of the name of this place? Any thoughts? Beignets Expressed.
I honestly didn't think about it either way until this very moment, whether I liked that name or not. I don't have a problem with it, but I also will never eat there, so
Now,
yeah.
I would like to chime in and say Celestino around here is known as being a cat owner, a cat parent.
Yeah, he's a cat guy.
Cat parent.
With no children.
With yes. So therefore, expressed has not entered his vocabulary in the way it would for a dog parent or a human parent, because that is when dog parents hear express, they think of a procedure for their dog that is not one I want to talk about here. And as a mother, another term for how you would get your breast milk is express.
Oh.
So you would talk about expressing breast milk. So when they talk about beignets expressed, dog parents, mine goes one way, and women who have breastfed or people who have been around women who breastfeed have thought another way. So there you go.
That had neither of those things had occurred to me.
But it's because what it means to squeeze and to achieve something through squeezing or something like that. So yeah. So there you go.
That's what it means. Yes. Anyway, Beignets Expressed with the ED has opened up next to Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen. Is the Jazz Kitchen itself open yet?
It is open. I don't know if it's 100% finished though.
Okay.
But I think it's been open throughout.
Oh, you're right. It never closed. Yuck. Yeah. So Beignets Express has a pared down menu from the old location. Just really desserts and beverages, although some fun looking desserts there. Here, we'll give you a quick look inside. Mike probably did not try anything while he was there. Am I right, Mike?
I actually tried to hold my breath so that I wouldn't inhale any of the flour.
That's amazing. Mike, this is an
looks like it's
overhead
upside
picture.
down.
This is an overhead picture, right, Mike?
I think the display is at a 45-degree angle. And it's up this photo is upside down.
Okay.
Okay.
Sometimes when you hold your camera like that, it
we were
thinks it's the wrong
debating.
orientation.
Yeah, we were debating this because this image was really messing with everybody's heads, and so I thought it was because you took it from I thought it was like trays, and so you took it from up top, and that's why the light was that way. But yeah, okay.
Glad you could solve that mystery for us. So you can go get your beignets here. Oops,
the beignets look good.
So are those beignets? I don't even know what a beignet really looks like.
It's a puff pastry.
Yeah, these are kind of off-looking beignets, but
they have
Rice Krispies or whatever that is, Lucky Charms or Fruity Pebbles on there. Is that what that is?
I think it's
it is Fruity Pebbles. Exactly
beignets are like a puff pastry, kind of like a donut, but not in a circular form, in a square form. And then you put a lot of powdered sugar on them.
All right, give me 1 second.
They're yummy.
I know I have overheard, since they closed the French Market at New Orleans Square in Disneyland, I have overheard like at least half a dozen people walking around going like, "Where are the beignets? Where are the beignets?"
Oh, that's funny. So this is what a beignet looks like when it's being eaten by me in New Orleans at Café Du Monde, which I got to go to. Wrong way. But this is what it looks like prior to entering my mouth, at least at Café Du Monde. Lots of powdered sugar, but it's, like Rebecca said, it's a puff pastry. It's incredibly good.
Because you know how you've seen them make a funnel cake, where you have the dough and you like swizzle it all around in the thing. Yeah, it's kind of similar in that it's a dough that's squeezed out, but it's more of a square.
Oh, so they are literally being expressed.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
where the name comes from, I guess.
Yeah, it's a play on the way that it's a play on the way that they're made, coupled with it's the to-go window. It's clever, but
Except
it's clever to a very small percentage of the
Yeah.
population who will get it, I guess.
too clever by half.
I don't know. It's probably wonderful. I'm sure they test market these things. I just know that when I first saw it, that's not where my mind went.
Nor me, nor Kyle, nor Nikki B.
I will have to say, as a fan of Community, the X didn't help. So, because it just reminds me of a logo element from the TV show Community that also has unique.
I'm trying to remember what you're
luggage,
talking about, but
baggage.
I'm due for a rewatch of Community, but I don't know. Can't remember.
Watch Community, and now I'm so curious what you're talking about. All right. One last thing Mike got to see.
This is in the Tropical Hideaway in Adventureland. So I've got, you might be able to see it up here, the original version of that dessert.
Yeah,
Yep.
I see it
Right
up there.
And now this is in new colors for the Disney 100 celebration. It's kind of a purple and chrome. Is that what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say
25
platinum.
bucks?
I'd go platinum.
Platinum.
Purple and platinum.
Purple. Okay. I don't think that writing is on it when you buy it.
Not for sale. 25 bucks includes the dessert.
Hey, Mike,
Number
since you own one, I see a hinge here. Is it that whole top part that comes up so that way the base could theoretically be a dish? I want to understand how it could actually be a bowl.
Okay, let's figure this out. Never actually used it. So it does have the spoon is the steam pipe.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, clever.
Where is the
Yeah, I feel like
hinge
there's
now?
a latch
The
on the
hinge.
front.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
You really can
yeah.
put dessert in it.
So yeah, so there you go.
Why
Okay.
don't you eat out of that tonight, Mike?
You have answered all the questions that we had this morning during Doobie and Kyle were debating whether or not it's actually a bowl, because it describes itself as a dessert bowl, and yet all of the imagery shows the boat adjacent to a cup of Dole Whip.
All right, that is all for our Disney talk today, but there is so much more. Okay, not that much more, but there is more. So, Mike, you got to go on a brand new coaster. I mean, that's really is the best part of your job, is when you get to go do a brand new ride for the first time. What was it like? Let me get this queued up here. What was it like riding Arctic Rescue at SeaWorld?
You know, I like this ride. It's not terribly intense. It's called a family coaster. It's definitely suitable for most ages. But it's the theming isn't anything to write home about, but for a roller coaster, it's a nice, pleasant experience. I did it like 5 or 6 times that day. Enjoyed it every time. There was one time where it broke down halfway through. But otherwise it seemed to be running well, and it's built into the Wild Arctic exhibit at SeaWorld San Diego. They kept the animal exhibit part. The launch area is where the old motion simulator ride used to be in that part of the park, and this is all out. You actually, the odd thing about it is you can't see the track from the park. So I couldn't get any photos of the track. I only got photos of the launch area, the boarding area, loading zone area, and then the video. This I shot on a GoPro that they let me borrow, and then they also shot a video of me from a tripod-mounted camera off the ride. But that's a separate video on Laughing Place, and then I got an interview with, I think, the project lead about what their goals were in putting this in the park. But it is a nice family roller coaster. It's not too intense. I think people are going to dig it. I like the lights above the queue area that look kind of like the Northern Lights.
Oh, nice.
Your interviews with Paige Brockman, who is the project manager. Here's a look at those lights Mike was just referring to.
Yeah,
So. Thanks, Nick. Okay, and then you got to go see revamped Fiesta Village. I'm sorry, that was at SeaWorld San
Right.
Diego. I want to clarify that.
Yeah.
A revamped Fiesta Village over at Knott's Berry Farm?
Yeah, really the only theme park I haven't been to in the last couple weeks is Universal. Not much going on over there, I guess. Yeah, so Knott's Berry Farm started its summer season weekend before last, and I got to see its newly redesigned, revamped, remodeled Fiesta Village area, which is kind of the Mexico themed land, sort of like the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot, actually, for Knott's Berry Farm. Very well done, very nicely redesigned. It feels a lot classier, actually. I don't know when the last time that was remodeled would have been, but I looked it up, and this land opened in 1969, so it's been there for quite a while. I don't know if it was the same since then or what. I'm not sure the whole history of it, but this area in particular really jumped out at me as being very, very nice after the remodel. It has a nice new water feature. There's a new bridge and some cool like Aztec totems if you keep flipping through the photos there. That's in front of the Jaguar roller coaster. And then across the path, there's what they call Alebrije Gardens. If you've seen Coco, I think you'll know what an alebrije is from Mexican culture. And they have all these statues of neat looking animals around that area. There's another one. And there's some new entertainment that we got to see. Marionette puppet show. There were new bands playing. There was a nighttime show called Calle Celebracion. And that's this show. This thing we kept saying looks like a Skeksis from the Dark Crystal. So that big puppet bird is a little terrifying, but also very fun and colorful. And there's a lot of dancing. This show actually reminded me of something Disney might do, like in their Viva Navidad type performance. This definitely was reminiscent of something like that.
Very nice.
Oh, very nice. So that's Fiesta Village at Knott's Berry Farm, which is undergoing a redo, and might give it a big thumbs up. Would you say it's better than Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run?
Really comparing apples and a galaxy far, far away there. I also did Ghost Town Alive, which is my favorite immersive experience at a theme park. Still running. Great time as always. We really had a blast. I got to be in the circus.
How could I forget about that?
My wife Tori sent me or got a video of me in the circus, and I sent it to Doobie.
Yes, am I allowed to share that?
Yeah, that's what it's for.
While Doobie pulls that up, I'm going to share this video in case you wondered what Mike looked like when he was riding.
Yep.
That because I was kind of curious that SeaWorld coaster. You're sitting up but riding, so it's kind of like Hagrid to me. The
theming is you're supposed to be on a snowmobile.
Yeah.
So you've got the handlebars, and this is the same ride through where I shot the GoPro video. So you can, if you zoom in really close, you can see the GoPro strapped to my chest.
Nice. Yeah. You're much more seated up than I anticipated with the view of the handlebars. But yeah, are you ready, Doobie?
I am ready. So
you can put yours in there.
So unfortunately, Google Photo video shares, as we learned on our trip, I'm just not sure the full resolution, but you'll get the idea.
Thank you. Now we'll just put that there.
It's Mike and the cowboy hat.
And over here we have another.
Oh, they're only cowboy hats.
Nobody
That's very disturbing.
We have Mike, the spinner of plates. Mike.
Yay, Mike the plate spinner.
What kind of dishes can you fit on there? Filet mignon. Okay, chicken. Fish tacos. I don't even know what that is in 1892, but fish tacos. Whatever. And Mike, how about a bell? Circus. And for our final thank you.
Fantastic, Mike.
Amazing. Amazing talent. Check it out. Look, so talented, says Gio. Hashtag, oh no, awesome, says Nikki V. There you
But
go.
yeah, I always highly recommend Ghost Town Alive. It runs throughout the summer at Knott's Berry Farm, and it's just so much fun. If I had unlimited free time, I'd be back there all the time just hanging out.
It's fun. Knott's Berry Farm is really feeling like Disneyland of '96, with just the amount of live entertainment that they have, and it's just very much a place for, I would say, like annual pass holders can go, and because live entertainment is really appealing in that way, because there's a similarity, but yet there's always something different, and you almost can suffer FOMO when it comes to live entertainment, especially ones like that where it's the interaction with the audience, because it's always going to be slightly different. And then when you go next time, annual pass holder friends of yours are going to be like, oh, you missed it. You know, they picked Joe last time, and he did that, you know, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's neat. It's exciting to see Knott's Berry Farm really kind of fully embracing that dynamic, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays in kind of the theme park battles.
Right.
It'll, you know, because they are to some extent in competition, obviously, with each other for entertainment dollars.
Yeah,
so
no, I think
it's good to see.
I do think that a lot of locals have made Knott's their regular haunt, no pun intended, in the last few years. Yeah,
That's funny.
As Disney has, you know, implemented the reservation program and
Right. Yeah. Same thing at Universal in
Yeah.
Florida. Universal Studios in Florida.
And they also and they also haven't greatly increased their live entertainment. Yeah, you're right. I hadn't even, you know, kind of thought of it that way. But yeah, they've added the street dancing in the New York zone. They've added a 50s sock hop entertainment show over there by Mel's Diner. And then they already had quite a few live entertainers with Harry Potter Land. I know that's not what it's called, but that's what I'm always.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Cool. Well, folks, Jeremiah missed a good one today. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Look what arrived, Doobie. We got a box.
Oh man, we have a box of stuff that has arrived. What does that say on it?
Says Adventures by Disney. Let's adventure together.
Are we going somewhere?
And then they have a little thingy that says, look for the orange sign to find your driver. And then you have your little strap for your bag.
I think we are going somewhere.
And then if you look real quick, I'm going to flash. That was a pin set. And that showed you where we were going, but I don't know if we're saying yet.
Why don't we save that one? Because I am right on the verge of missing my bus.
Okay.
We've still got a few weeks before this trip, so we will tease it.
I'm going somewhere. I'll be at Walt Disney World in a couple days for an Indiana Jones event. But
awesome! Yeah,
we'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Very excited to, honestly, very excited to have this hour with Mike Celestino without Jeremiah. No shade to Jeremiah, but it was fun. I feel like him being out of the way lets Mike bloom. We'll see you next week.
Oh.
Oh, did you want to say something else?